Tears of the Kingdom and Mario Wonder set the stage for a big finale. How do you top that? The looming shadow of a Nintendo Switch successor puts Nintendo in a precarious position, but also one that's exciting. Where do you go from here? I think they have at least 3 options they could go, and I think we've already seen one of the frameworks for one of those, so let's start there. The beginning of 2024 was a little bit dry, but eventually this led to Princess Peach Showtime, and then following we get Paper Mario Thousand Year Door Remaster Remake, and then we get Luigi's Mansion 2. While I wouldn't say these are the biggest games out there, they're a good pedigree of IP. We're using the Mario name. So what does that look like for the rest of 2024 and going into the new Switch successor next year? We do know that somewhere in 2025 we are getting a new Pokemon Legends spin-off. So with this framework, I could see them just repeating what they did in the first half. We get a new entry in an IP, or we get a new IP in general. We get a remake or a port of a previous game, and Nintendo just lives off the hype of the new system being here soon. So if you're just trying to satiate the crowd before putting out all your bangers, I could see a port, finally, of Xenoblade Chronicles X. That's one of the last Wii U games that hasn't come over, so that'd be a perfect time to drop this one in the fall. Knowing that game had patches to make it run better on the Wii U, which could no longer be downloaded, I think this would be a very good boon and kind of show that goodwill. And Xenoblade's been a pretty good seller for them. Knowing that they are starting to take DS and 3DS games and Game Boy Advance even with the Mario vs. Donkey Kong, I could see them going another route with some more RPGs. How about a collection of Bravely Default and Bravely Second to have on the Switch, so then you would have the whole entire series on the Switch. I do think Team Asano is probably working on another entry in the Triangle Strategy series, but I think this would be a nice little jaunt in time before they jump onto the next Switch successor. Now, this next part I don't really want them to do, but I could see them doing a Star Fox spin-off to give the Switch at least something with the Star Fox name attached to it. So think of a Star Fox Guard that was packaged in with the Wii U version of Star Fox Zero. I want a proper mainline Star Fox game, but maybe they're a little bit worried and a little trepidatious to dive into those waters again since Star Fox hasn't been selling very well. Now that all sounds pretty good, but that's not where I would go. I would go this method. Just go all in, baby. It's time. It's time for the Metroid Prime 4. Now, I can see them doing this a couple different ways, but you want that big holiday ticket item. Metroid is not the huge seller, but it's doing pretty well on Switch with the remaster and Dread doing pretty good numbers. And I think this would just give a lot of goodwill that, yes, it was announced for the Switch, and you're going to release it for the Switch. I could see this going 2 ways. You market this is the big game for the fall. And a year or 2 later, we get an enhanced port for the next Switch successor. And knowing that most likely you'll be able to play this on your Switch successor anyways with backwards compatibility, selling that port, I don't know, but that would give them more opportunities to sell this game. I know they want to take their time, make sure this game is ready to go. I think it has had enough time since resetting of development. Right now is the time for Metroid. That's a good swan song for the Switch, starting with Breath of the Wild, ending with Metroid Prime 4, and Pokemon. That's good. I could also see them bundling this with the cross-gen title. This is the final big game for the Switch at the time, because I'm sure they're going to still release games for the Switch even when the Switch successor is out, because they did the same thing with the 3DS line. But this would be that cross-gen title, kind of like Breath of the Wild was with Wii U and Switch. A friend of mine also thinks a new DK game would be a perfect opportunity this fall or this holiday. And you know the synergy with that, with the new Nintendo World Park? I could see that happening. Now, I really don't think they are going to, because going all in on the very last bit of Switch, eventually the mainstream media will catch on that, yeah, there is a Switch successor coming, so I'm not going to buy a Switch, but that takes a while. I don't know if they want to drop down a huge new IP, or at least a new entry, because maybe it'd be a 3D entry instead of another 2D. You know, something way different. Get that Switch effect for the 3D Donkey Kong. That'd be kind of cool. Now, whether them going into the 3D Donkey Kong classifies as a new IP, I still think there will be that new IP, whatever that is, or at least a new spin-off. So Princess Peach Showtime to me is a new IP. We've only gotten her in one other game on the DS. So maybe this is where Waluigi gets his time to shine in like a detective noir game. Can you imagine that? Man, the internet would go insane. It seems like Nintendo likes to have 3 big-ish games coming around the fall time and then leading into a new system, get the extra sales out there, and maybe even then do a price cut. And And then when you inevitably have a major flagship game that is only on the Switch successor, you'll get the sales you need. Don't worry, we'll be there buying it. Especially if it's another Mario game. Come on, since 2017, I haven't gotten me a new 3D Mario game. I know Bowser's Fury is amazing and great, but I want a full-length game. I'm ready for it. When looking at this plan back to back, it seems kind of crazy that we get a new Donkey Kong, Metroid Prime 4, and a new spin-off, well, say Waluigi, but maybe it'd be something else. What about another entry in the Fire Emblem series? There's been that rumor of a finished remake of one of the older games. I don't even remember which one. I saw that rumor so long ago. But I think this would be a great time to jump in and give us another Fire Emblem. Yeah, Fire Emblem Engage didn't light the world on fire, but Three Houses did. This would be giving us another entry into the series. And it seems like with the Switch effect, that's going to sell pretty well. I don't think that would be a big ticket item comparatively to Metroid Prime 4 or a new Donkey Kong game, but I think that would sit in there so nicely and it'd be exciting. I just want more Fire Emblem. Why not? I think that seems like a lot, and maybe they wouldn't want to go that route, but at the same time, that would get me very, very excited about Nintendo this year. Whether it's just in the circles that I run, I just don't feel that huge excitement for Nintendo this year. It's all about the looming of the next console, and we want to switch that narrative. And the third route is, well, it's Nintendo. It's hard to predict most of the time what they're going to be doing, and this is exactly that. The blank slate of confusing stuff and ideas they present. Sometimes they can be baffling. So this option is your pick, because I can't fathom sometimes Nintendo just goes off the wall. What would you want to see them pick? What release would get you so excited that you would tell somebody else, tell your friend, tell your grandma, hey, yeah, look at this game, it's coming to the Switch. That's super exciting. Put them down in the comments below. Now, there is also this range of maybe this is a conglomeration of both of these ideas. You play it safe, but you have one prime time pick. Didn't even mean to do that. In my case, I would pick Metroid Prime 4 is the big flagship game still in this scenario, this combination one, and then maybe you'd get the port of, let's say, Xenoblade to fill in the time. Maybe that you would just do those two. Maybe they have another Let's Go ready to go for Pokemon. They do like to, have a lot of Pokemon going on. Maybe a port of like Pokemon Ranger or something like that. So not all the pizzazz, but still have enough that gets me going and excited for the Switch until the following year when I can be like, yeah, I'm ready. Time for something new. Time to hopefully jump around as a 3D Mario. So the problem with all of this is I feel like Tears of the Kingdom and Super Mario Bros. Wonder was the swan song they needed. And now they have to pad out next year because of whatever happened. And maybe you don't even think that Tears of the Kingdom was all that good of a last game in the entry. Well, don't worry. I've got some videos for you right here.